I'd like to call this meeting of the Princeton City Council to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Mayor Mabry.
Here.
Councilmember Newman. Here. Gomez.
Here.
McCall. Here. McCransky.
Here.
Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to start out. We're going to go right to a report from Attorney Melissa Sims concerning, I call it an opioid settlement that's being worked on in these communities. So, Melissa, would you please come up to the podium there, please.
Hello, everyone. Melissa Sims. I am a resident of Princeton. I'm from Tiscalot. Some of you know me. I practiced law at Blue Viscous Law Firm for 15 years, and I'm a partner at Millburg in New York. As some of you know, we filed a mass tort class action against the opioid manufacturers and distributors in some major pharmacies for the influx of opioids and other addictive pharmaceuticals into your community. Well, guess what? We settled most of the defendants. So we have over $200 billion that has been settled so far. We're waiting on just a few other defendants. Purdue Pharmaceutical is stuck in bankruptcy. Endo Pharmaceutical is in bankruptcy. There's a few other pharmacies that are yet to join in on the settlement. I attended a settlement discussion forum yesterday in Philadelphia, and we just have a few stragglers left. So what you're having, the settlements that you're getting so far are going to be annual payments from the various parties that have settled. I can get you a spreadsheet to show you how much you're going to get over the next, I think, 18 years. That money has to be spent in a certain fashion, and you have to actually account for it. So you would be given a login to process those payments, and then you probably are doing that, right? So she's probably expert at it. And then when you want to spend money from that settlement, there is a list of things that we can use that for. If there's any question on something that might be, something that you wanted to do, I can contact the Attorney General's office, and they've given me guidance as to things that maybe don't appear on that list specifically. So we settled it. We thought we'd do that. This 2017, we filed these lawsuits, and now already cities all over the country are getting money for it.
So you feel that we've got just a couple more minor settlements, so to speak, but we will be seeing some money in the next 6 months, you think?
Oh, you'll be seeing money in the next 6 months for 18 years.
Okay, very good.
And so I can get you guys a spreadsheet from the Attorney General as to what that anticipation is going to be.
That'd be great to get that to Teresa, and then she can disseminate it to us.
I did have one spreadsheet that I've gotten, I think it was about last week's time frame or a week before. It's a distributor projected payment as well as the Janssen projected payment. Is that the only one that's come out so far?
Yes.
For the projections?
Yes.
Okay. So I do have those ones.
Okay, great. And then as the other ones come in, I'll update it with you. But what I can do is also ask the Attorney General to confirm those.
Okay. And then I had just gotten some notification from Myers. Is that a whole nother?
Yes.
Settlement?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a Myers within distance around here, but we're probably still going to be part of the settlement just because it's conceivable that people from Princeton could have went to a Myers and, filled a prescription.
A minimal amount, but...
yeah.
Okay.
So those are the stragglers that are
okay.
going to be coming in. Now, Purdue Pharmaceutical, which is a major player here, they filed bankruptcy, and so that is being played out. Of course, the federal government has the placeholder on that. They're going to probably get 75% of that. That's probably going to be around $10 billion. And then the remaining will be distributed among the cities and the counties across the country. So there's still, the big whale is still out there, but because the federal government has that placeholder on it, it's not likely the cities are going to get the majority of that.
Any questions for the council?
I got one, even though I'm not an elected official, but I do have a question. Is there just one defendant and like 120 million plaintiffs with this? Or?
There's 120 million plaintiffs and about 50 defendants.
Okay, but is this all being treated as
Yeah. So
one settlement?
Yeah, so what happened is, we call it mass tort litigation. So it's kind of like a class action, but I don't know if you've seen on TV, you see the talcum powder cases and things like that, and the Camp Lejeune and all those kind of cases. So what we do at Millburg is we aggregate all those cases, and you get it in front of one judge, and it's called a multi-district litigation. So this litigation is in front of one judge in the Northern District of Ohio, and he handles all the pretrial motions, he handles all the trials, things like that, the bellwether trials that come up. And then when a few of those cases are tried, then those defendants end up settling. So then what we do is we aggregate all the clients together and then have a formula. And the formula that they used was called the MME, and it's a morphine millimeter equivalent. And so they look at your opioid deaths that were here in Princeton, Bureau County, and then you get that proportionate share from that settlement. So that's kind of how they figure it out. It's worked so far.
There won't be anything coming up once this is all settled. That's it globally, essentially.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
We have other litigation I can talk to you guys about other things they're doing, but as far as the opioid litigation, yeah, it'll be resolved. One Purdue and then the other straggler stuff.
It's a very tragic series of events that took place to get to this. I mean, just the tragedy of people killed and overdosed and things like that. My wife's a pharmacist, so she unfortunately saw people getting prescriptions and just sad.
In the beginning of the litigation in 2017, when I was watching it, there was only 3 lawsuits on file, 2 in California, 2 counties, and the city of Chicago. And the only one that survived a motion to dismiss was the city of Chicago. And then all us lawyers throughout the country started filing on behalf of cities to try to get a seat at that table. And we were able to successfully try some good cases in front of juries, usually in the states that were really impacted, Ohio, West Virginia. Those cases were called our bellwether trials, and those went first. And you saw some of those counties getting $300 million from one defendant. So then the other defendants started, settling. So that aided us in settling it globally. But they have put a lot of remedial measures to where, as your wife being a pharmacist, all the things you have to do now to stop this from happening again.
Common sense things. I mean, should have been there 20 years ago. So, thank you very much for coming tonight and give us an update.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We're going to go ahead now and go to public comment. Public comment is available for you to speak at the beginning of the meeting as well as at the end. Is there any public comment this evening? Okay. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and go now to the minutes from the regular council meeting for July 3rd.
I move that we approve the minutes from our regular council meeting on July 3rd, 2023.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any comments? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Yes.
McCall.
Aye.
McCransky.
Aye.
Mayor Mabry.
Aye. Now we'll go to invoices.
For this period in the Department of Accounts and Finances, we have invoices totaling $94,617.80. In the Department of Public Property and Utilities, we have invoices totaling $782,242.28. In the Streets and Department of Streets and Public Improvements, we have invoices totaling $112,486.74. And in the Department of Public Safety, we have invoices totaling $222,966.61, for a grand total of $1,212,313.43. Mayor, all council members present have confirmed their reviews of all invoices and now are submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve the invoices as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall. Aye. McCransky.
Aye.
Mayor Mabry.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is ordinance O-23-010. This is the second and final reading for an ordinance adopting the NFPA 70 National Electric Code 2023. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this ordinance and it is submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve ordinance O-23-010.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any comments or questions? Seeing none, clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
McCransky.
Aye.
Mayor Mabry.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is ordinance O-23-011. This is an ordinance amending the solar net metering policy, specifically the fair solar credit determination. This is the second and final reading. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this ordinance and it is submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve ordinance O-23-011.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Did you say what?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. McCall.
Aye.
McCransky.
Aye.
Mayor Querum. Mayor Mabry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Aye.
6 more months, I'll get that out of
Yeah.
Next on the agenda is Resolution R-23-016. This is a resolution appointing Lori Underwood as the authorized agent for the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this resolution and it is submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve resolution R-23-016.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
McCransky.
Aye.
Mayor Mabry.
Aye. Okay, now we're going to go to the city manager report. Teresa, please.
Very short. The last 2 pages of your packet are for May 2023 for police and fire pension reports. For police, they're sitting at about 10.3 million for net position held, and for the firefighters pension, they're at about 8.7 million for net position held.
Anything else, Teresa? Okay, that's it. Okay, now we're down to the mayor's report. I'm going to step out here in the audience for just a moment. Okay, so what we've been doing is we've been having we call the Positively Princeton side of the house, businesses, organizations, some of them are nonprofits, to come and to speak and tell us a little bit more about their organization or their business. And these are all very positive. We've all learned from it, these different evenings we've had this going on. So tonight we're going to be inviting 2 different entities. One is a 501c3, it's a nonprofit. It's called the Princeton Closet. The Princeton Closet is at 2026 North Main Street. The easy way to describe it is just south of TSC. It's an upscale resale store, and representing the store is store manager Jen Conwell. Jen, would you please come up and speak? We're glad to have you.
So thank you. Yes, my name is Jen Conwell. I'm getting ready to start my 3rd year as the manager at the Princeton Closet. I think people don't realize how impactful the Princeton Closet is and actually what we do. We are 100% fully donated items. We do not buy pallets from any auction sites. We do not get any pallets donated anymore from big box stores. Those policies have changed. So our revenue is 100% donated from the community. With that, we have what's called a Lending a Hand grant that Bureau County 501c3 nonprofit organizations can apply to us yearly, and then we distribute the money that we make back to those people that apply to those programs. So the last 2 years have been very lucrative years for us. We gave away $216,500 just in January to 33 nonprofit organizations, and they're all in Bureau County. And in 2021, we gave away $218,000. So in addition to that, just in May, we gave away $15,000 in scholarships for college scholarships to area students in Bureau County, and that was open to all schools in Bureau County. The other thing that we do that we don't advertise is we work with several agencies in Bureau County for emergency voucher situations. So people that are in emergency critical need, they come in on the days that we're off, we're not open, and we get them whatever that they need. Most of the time it's clothing, household things, linens, blankets. We help a lot of the homeless in the wintertime, even down to giving them candlesticks to keep their hands warm. But we work with agencies like Aruka, Freedom House, DHS, Tri-County Opportunities, Second Story, all of those agencies. So I don't think people understand how impactful donating to us is, but it really truly does benefit the entire community. We're very conscientious on what we recycle. Anything that is not sellable that gets donated that's not up to the standards of our store, we do recycle that. We send it up to Chicago, and it gets recycled. So soft goods, linens, that kind of thing. We do recycle our metal. We do recycle our cardboard. So we try to be very sustainable in our business as well. So, does anybody have any questions?
Council, the scholarship, did you say, is that for college?
Yes.
And what are the qualifications for that?
There is a whole list of qualifications. So a lot of it is grade point average, volunteer, how much they volunteered in the community, letters of recommendation. We have a scholarship committee, and some of those women have been on that committee for 15 years. So they have read. That's one thing I disperse them to do. I have a whole council that does that. And then they go through and they rate them, and then they distribute the money. So there's a whole prerequisites for it.
Has time frame gone by for this year?
Yes. Yep. We just finished giving them out, and actually I have a lot of those kids in volunteering for me right now before they leave for state. So it'll be back open again. Our Lending a Hand grant for the nonprofits, that deadline is November 1st. So to apply for that.
Just on behalf of my veterans organizations, I'd like to thank you for the donations from the private gifts given to us. As everybody knows, we actually use a lot of those funds to perform services, specifically honor guard services for all those veterans that have passed. So thank you.
Yeah. It's a pretty rewarding job, I think, for sure.
Last Saturday, 3 days ago, I was out at the interstate, the intersection of Route 26 and 80, and there was a lady early in the morning there. She just had a small plastic bag of her personal belongings, but I visited with her, and she was homeless, and unfortunately, she had nothing but a small plastic bag of clothing. And then I went out on Sunday morning just to kind of check on her, and she had a smile on her face. She'd been to the closet on Saturday, and she had a whole wardrobe of clothes that were donated to her, and she was a very happy person. So it just shows what you can do. So we appreciate the organization. And at the front of their building, they've reinvested some money. If you've been out to or have not been out to the closet to look, it's really, they got the front of it repainted, and they got this big coat hanger. It's really cool. It's very well done, very tastefully done. Thank you, Jen. We're going to shift gears now. We're going to talk about a local business that has been in business since 1969. And it's a business that is one of those quiet little businesses that does a fantastic job. They put out a quality product. They employ a number of people. It's in its third generation. And I'm not going to say the name of the business. We're going to let the gentleman that owns the business talk tonight. And so we have Andy Austin with us. Andy is a third generation owner of this local business. Andy?
Thank you, Mayor, for bringing me in to talk. We are a pretty quiet business here in town. I'm just going to start by passing out samples and things like that of metals that we have done. We are an activities and athletics-based association. We do all of the IHSA finals awards for the state of Illinois, elementary school, IESA, South Dakota, Kansas, Arkansas, Iowa Music, Iowa Speech, KMEA. We have been in business since 1969. My grandfather started it in his basement over on Euclid Street. He had been working at Jobson's he worked there for, he always would say, 19 years, 11 months, and 3 weeks. He quit 1 week before his 20th anniversary because he knew he wanted to quit, and he didn't feel that it was right to accept a gift for his 20 years of service, knowing that he wanted to quit. So in 1969, he got the National JC's order to produce their awards, and he started producing them into shortly thereafter. He slowly graduated to other state associations. We have serviced most of our associations that we do for 30 plus years. The IHSA started in 1970s for us. We've gone through all their changes. We've designed all of their awards, all their changes. We have enameled their pins. We engrave hundreds of thousands of medals every year. We also do a bunch of cast plaques for the city. The park benches out at Zarian Park are our placards for the memorial benches. The city council member name badges you see in front of you are ours as well. We've done some other awards around town. We did a plaque for the chief, and that was 3 weeks ago, something like that. Medals, plastic, name badges. All the Heartland branches that have name badges, those are our name badges. We laser them every Thursday for Heartland Bank. We do a number for Liberty Village. Acrylic, golf awards, anything you guys need. You come in, see me, we're usually pretty quick to turn around. We value our product very much. We think that we give a high quality product at a very reasonable price. Just kind of moving with the times, technology, laser engraving. We've taken up some of the overflow from Bruce retiring to do some hand engraving on some jewelry and things like that. We are updating our machinery to do more gun etching, things like that, any kind of other services, glass etchings, rotary attachments, just odds and ends here and there, as much as we can, help out the city as much as we can in terms of their award needs. That's pretty much it. A lot of traveling, a lot of sales. If you have kids in the area, you're probably seeing sometimes before that whether it's a medal or kids want a basketball tournament or anything like that. So thank you for the invite tonight, Mayor. I appreciate it.
Council, any questions? Correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys have been in the movies?
We had small parts. If you pause it at the right time, half a second into the Blind Side movie, there is a god-awful looking trophy in there that we had to Hollywood up for the movie. The trophy we produced for the Tennessee Association was not jazzy enough for it, so they had us make this monstrosity of an award. But it was, if you pause it for just a half a second, sometime in the locker room, you'll see everybody cheering around this trophy that we made for them, and that was a nice thing. It was very surprised. We're like, okay, we'll make an award for a movie, and you send it off, and you're like, oh, Sandra Bullock's going to be it. We should have taken a picture of that. So, yeah, here and there, yeah.
Where are you located?
I'm sorry?
Where are you located?
We are right in between the Highway Department and Princeton Electric on Park Avenue. I'm sorry, Elm Place.
We had a plaque made at your place a few years back, yeah.
Yeah. Plaques. We lasered a deer antler for a keychain this week. And, if you bring it in, we'll figure it out, or we'll work around. Gifts, engravables, little plastic trophies, large plastic trophies. We can make just about anything that you guys need, as tall as you want, as big as you want. Just kind of give me some kind of direction, and if not, I'll figure it out for you.
Any other questions, comments?
Good. Andy, thank you very much. Andy. We'll make sure we get that all back to you. It's fun to see a small business, third generation, A&M products. We got a little project out at the fairgrounds. We planted some trees, and we got a little, I call it a dog tag that Andy's company makes for us and engraves the name of the person that the tree is dedicated to. So great business. And you employ maybe 10 people, Andy?
We'll be back full staff, counting myself, 11 people.
That's great. Good stuff. Okay, very good. Positively Princeton, I encourage the council members, if you've got something that you'd like to have highlighted, we'll do that. I know we're going to have Flags of Freedom going to be coming, and we also have the Park District is going to be coming. We've talked with them, and they're going to give us an overview of what they've got going on. We've got the local Ace Hardware store is on tap to be coming to visit with us, and we're excited about that. So that's some of the things. So again, council members, if you got something, we'll be glad to put it on the agenda. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go ahead now and go to old business. Is there any old business?
I've got a couple of things I wanted to just ask for some status on if I can. We heard from a resident a couple of months ago about an oversized sign on South Main Street, and a sign that was encouraging people honking their horns, and I don't know if that's been resolved. And also, we all received a letter recently about a resident who had an issue with a neighbor that had unregistered chickens and were not taking care of them properly. Is anything going on with that at all? I'm just curious.
Do you know which chicken issue it was?
It was the chicken issue.
That's been resolved.
Yes.
They were not being housed properly in the back, and it was kind of very unkept and so forth.
We still have to pay them a visit. They also need to pay a fine, and we're waiting for that fine payment. They have registered their chickens in the meantime, which was they reduced their inventory of fowl.
Okay.
They got rid of the ducks and reduced their chicken numbers to the legal number by ordinance.
Okay.
We allowed them to do that retroactively in order to resolve the fine issue, et cetera, et cetera. So it's coming together slowly. We still have to check on their pens, and that should be the end of it once we get paid the fine.
Okay. And the oversized sign ordinance in a residential area?
The oversized sign ordinance is the mayor had a visit with the resident and explained the ordinance to the resident, and I think the resident was contemplating compliance.
Contemplating. Okay.
So as far as the honking goes, we have actually discussed it with one of our attorneys, and we think that there is some legal case law now that shows that the honking may not be a First Amendment protected item.
Oh, okay.
So once we kind of sort that out, we may want to consider an ordinance to quell that a little bit.
Okay. All right.
Because I drove by and the sign is still up.
Okay. Yeah, it is.
Over the weekend I drove by and I saw it.
Yes. I see it every day.
Yeah, sure. If I could add, so what we're trying to do, we want to treat people like we want to be treated. And so I met with the individual about 3 weeks ago in person at his home, and we had a conversation, and then I went back this past Saturday, I believe I was there, and I know it was either Friday or Saturday, so just 3 days ago, and I included some information in that meeting that Pete had given me concerning some of the specific violations of those signs. So we had about a 15-minute discussion, and Pete is going to continue in the contact role, and that gentleman told me he would get in touch with Pete, and if that doesn't happen shortly, Pete will reach out to him. So we're trying to, instead of sending the proverbial certified letter, that maybe comes across in a negative way, even though I know people are irritated by what is going on there, we're trying to work in a positive way to resolve this issue. So I think Pete's going to it's in Pete's hands now again, and I think it's going to get resolved. I feel pretty comfortable with that.
That is the best way to solve the problem, is to try and do it with grace and not, be difficult with them, but good, okay, excellent. So conversations are taking place. Excellent. All right, thank you.
Good question, good comments. Any other old business?
Habitat for Humanity, we meet every 2 weeks. They're accelerating their meetings because they have an application deadline of 18 August. So we'll be meeting on this Wednesday again, and we may meet one more time before our next meeting on the 7th of August, but I should have if not, I'll have an update for us there as well. There's information for anyone on the Habitat for Humanity applications here at the city, and if you have any questions or anything, you can also contact me as well.
Great. Thank you. When the previous mayor did a great job delegating different commissions and committees, and I really mean that also, sir. I appreciate the legwork that was started. And so we have a arts committee, we have a historic preservation, we have a bicycle pedestrian commission or committee, we have a tree committee, and I'm missing one there, guys. Appreciate it. But basically, we as council members are attending these meetings, and then we report back. Jerry, in many ways, does the heavy lifting. He's got like 4 different meetings he attends during the month, and we get a nice detailed report. You've got a copy of his report from this past month. I've taken on the tree commission, sitting in on that, and they're going to be announcing planting more trees, and they're going to ask the public to help plant trees, and it'll be good. So appreciate all the council members going to those meetings. Appreciate getting some feedback how those meetings are going. That frees up Teresa to go to a lot of other more meetings that she's been spread thin on, and we appreciate you doing that, Teresa. Hopefully, you don't have to go every night to meetings, so that's good.
I'll still pop in at the commission.
Yep.
They do a good job. They really do.
And we're glad to have you. Okay, let's go, if we could, to new business. Any new business? No new business. Any public comment? Okay, seeing none. Oh, I'm sorry, Chip. Please come up and just give your name and.
I can talk to you. You're probably hearing from here. I'm Chip Hawkins, and we live on Hudson Street. And I'm just curious as to what the city's been doing down in Beauty Creek back there with all the lot lines to make sure, which backs up, I believe, to make it property.
Cemetery in the property for sale.
Is it on the south side of the creek?
Yeah.
On the south side of the creek?
Well, it's in the creek.
Well, it's in the middle of the creek is where our property lines are.
Yeah, we had that survey.
Okay.
To see whose property is whose, what the city of Princeton's property was.
Okay.
Beyond
that, then is the other guys.
Yeah, we're finding that out.
I know,
some of the homes on Hudson Street do have some property on the other side of the creek. We're finding.
Oh, on the other side also?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, mercy.
So.
Okay.
No.
Didn't know that. Thank you very much. I'm learning.
Okay, any other public comments? Okay. Seeing none. Jerry?
I move that we adjourn our regular council meeting this evening and reconvene on Monday, August 7th, 2023, 6 o'clock at City Hall.
We have a motion and a second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Lukransky.
Aye.
Mayor Mabry.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.